Welcome to Fowl Play, the sequel to the Nut Heist. In the Nut Heist, the adventure focused on the forces of the Kingdom of Acorna. In this installment, the adventure revolves around the Black Eastern Chipmunk Squad, known as the Becks, the Delta Force of the Chipmunk Kingdom of Doosan, and their newest member, Elgar. Sit back and enjoy the adventure, for who knows what will happen in the woods when foul play is involved. Fowl Play by Trisha M. Wilson. Episode 8. Chapter 8. Searching. "Are we almost there?" Nesta asked as she sat down on a nearby rock. "I'm tired. We've been walking forever." "Yeah, I thought you knew where this special place was," Rise said, sitting down next to her. "We do know where it is," Arnie said. "It's just that we didn't go in where we usually do, and I'm having a hard time reorientating myself to this new area we walked into." "Does that mean you're lost?" Vanda asked. "No, that means we're lost," Rise said. "We are not lost," Ebby said, looking around for what had to be the 100th time since they'd entered the woods. He said, "I think it is over here somewhere." "That's what you said 5 minutes ago, and then 5 minutes before that," Nesta said. Noting the tension amongst the group, Adern asked, "Are we going to die?" "No, of course not. Arnie and Ebby know how to get us back to the city, right?" Nesta asked. Arnie and Ebby looked at each other with confusion on their faces. "I think the city is that way," Arnie said, pointing toward a direction. "No, it isn't. It's that way," Ebby said, pointing in the opposite direction. "But we came from this way, so the city should be this way," Rise said, pointing from the way they had come. "Can't one of you birds fly up and spot the city?" Vanda asked. "Sure we can," Rise said. "I'll go and figure out which way we should go." Readying his wings with a fluff, he took flight and flew toward the sky. Only after a few minutes he came back down with a look of dread on his face. "I couldn't find the city. I went in each direction, but there was no sign of it." "Well, why didn't you fly farther?" Vanda asked. "I didn't want to get separated from you guys, and if I'd gone farther, I know I would have," Rise said defensively. "This is all your fault," Nesta said to Arnie. "You just had to show us your special place in the forest. I bet there isn't even a special place. All you wanted to do was get us lost in the forest." "That's not true. I'm simply a little turned around," Arnie said. "We don't have time to fight," Rise said loudly. "We have to get back to the festival fast, or else Tancred will know we've left. Then he'll tell our parents, and we'll be in real trouble." "It's already too late for that," Vanda said. "We've been out here a lot longer than that half-hour time limit he gave us. I bet even now he's looking for us." "I want to go home. I want Mommy," Adern said. "I know you do, but right now we have to get out of the forest. Did you see any sign of life out there?" Nesta asked her brother. I did see something that might have been smoke in that direction. It might be the edge of the city, or maybe a camper. Either way, we don't really have a choice," Rise said. Everyone got up from their seats and began to walk in the direction Rise had indicated. Every 10 minutes or so, Rise would fly back up into the sky to see if they were getting any closer to smoke, or if he was able to see the city. "I think we're getting really close to that fire," Rise said after one of his flights. "This time, I could actually see someone. I think it might be a hunter." "Mommy said that we aren't supposed to talk to strangers," Adern said. "You'll be fine as long as you stick with the rest of us," Rise said reassuringly before the group started off again toward the mysterious camper. "What do you mean you lost the children?" Arwell yelled at Tancred. "You had a simple job. Follow them around the festival grounds. What exactly was so difficult about that?" "I'm so sorry, sir. They wanted to go on the rides, and I let them go ahead of me, and—" "You let them out of your sight?" Tesney screeched. "What were you thinking? These are newcomers to your kingdom, and you simply let them out of your sight because they wanted to go on some rides?"
"Please calm down," Ulrich said in a soothing tone. "I know it seems bad right now, but we have our best people out looking for your children and their friends. I'm sure we will find them soon." "I'm going out to help with the search. If anything happens to them because of your incompetence, you're going to regret it," Arwell threatened before he swept out of the room. Tesney glared at Tancred a second before she followed her husband. "That went better than it could have," Lucina said from where she had been standing. "Yes, but how could you let this happen?"
Ulrich asked Tancred.
"I am so sorry, Your Majesty. I was not up to my usual self. I'll be the first to admit that. I had to stay up all night going over those legal documents you wanted me to look at, and I only got a few hours of sleep. And then when I received word that I was to chaperone the children, I know I should have asked someone else to take my place, but I thought that I could handle it. Once we were on the festival grounds, they were so insistent that they would be fine by themselves. I believed that they only wanted to go on the rides. I didn't think they'd take off for the forest."
"I know you didn't, but now we need to find those children," Lucina said urgently. The door to the room opened, and Roswitha strode in.
"Have you any news on the children?"
Ulrich asked.
"No, Your Majesty. I've personally talked to everyone who saw the children leave the back exit, and everyone says they headed directly into the forest."
"Why? Why did they go to the forest?" Lucina asked.
"I talked to the squirrel children's mothers, and one of the children, Arnie, has a special place in the forest that his friend and him are always going to. It is my belief that Arnie wanted to show his new friends this place in order to impress them,"
Roswitha said.
"If that's the case, then we must find out if they are at this place. Does either parent know the location?"
Ulrich asked.
"Yes, and I've already sent a few men there. So far, the children are not anywhere in the area. I believe they got lost because where they entered the forest is a great distance from their destination. It would not be hard to get lost, let alone turned around in the forest."
"How many men do you have out looking for them?"
Ulrich asked.
"Every available man is searching the forest. I have also doubled security around the palace and the bank, just in case this diversion could be used against us. But other than that, everyone is out there looking for them. I have people on the ground and in the trees searching for any trace of them."
"Then why haven't you found them yet?" Lucina asked. "How hard could it be to find 6 children in the forest?"
"Harder than you might believe," Roswitha said. "Firstly, there's little trace of which direction they went after they initially entered the forest. We are going on the assumption that they either stuck to a trail or tried to go parallel to the tree line. But that does not mean they could not have left the trail at any point in their journey. Also, we don't know exactly how much of a head start they have. Children are notorious for moving very swiftly when they are excited, and that means they could have covered more ground than we might think is possible."
"So what you're telling us is that you know nothing that might help us locate them," Ulrich said. "Do you understand what could happen to the peace between our two kingdoms if those children are found safe and sound?"
"Yes, Your Majesty, I do, but it is too early to begin thinking such negative thoughts. If we have not found them by tonight, I will contact the Blevins and request that some of their best tracking men come and help us in the search. They will be able to get higher into the sky than we can."
Lucina and Ulrich looked at each other with dread on their faces.
"If there is nothing else, I need to get back to the search."
"Of course," Ulrich said. "We expect updates every 2 hours."
"Yes, Your Majesty,"
Roswitha said with a bow. As the door shut behind her, Lucina sat down in a nearby chair and said,
"What are we going to do, Ulrich? Arwell and Tesney were livid about Tancred not properly supervising their children and letting this happen. Even if we do find the children, they could continue to hold a grudge."
"Roswitha's right. We can't think about that right now," Ulrich said. "What we need to focus on is finding those children. Only after they are found do we start to worry about any repercussions this might have on the peace conference. What I'm worried about is Tancred. Could you tell by the way he was talking that he feels wholeheartedly responsible for all that has happened?
He is responsible. If he had properly watched them, none of this would have happened, Lucina said.
You don't know that. And it isn't only his fault. It is ours, because we are the ones who told him to look over those papers for today, and also made him responsible for the children. I think that after this situation is over, we should get him an assistant. Then not so much duty will be put on his shoulders.
That's a good idea. But first we need to find the children.
Yes, and that's why I'm going to go help with the search.
You? Lucina questioned. What do you know about locating children lost in the forest?
More than you might think. This is not the first child that has disappeared into the forest, and it won't be the last. My father taught me a few things about tracking, and I have been on more than one search and rescue mission. If nothing else, I will be another set of eyes out there. That has to count for something.
Lucina watched as he grabbed a light jacket and headed for the door. I'll stay here in case any new information comes in. Please be careful.
I will, my love. You know that. I'll hopefully be back before dark. If I'm not, I'll send word.
Foul Play was written by Trisha M. Wilson and read by R.L. Ferguson. For comments or compliments, just head over to Colbyjack.net and look for our contact page. Foul Play is released under Creative Commons non-commercial no derivatives license. Share it with whoever you want, just don't sell it or change it. Have a nice day. Foul Play is now available in ebook format from Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and Smashwords. While you're there, check out our other titles such as The Nut Heist, the prequel to Foul Play, or Nightmare, a tale of obsession and murder. Links to all her wonderful titles are available at our homepage at Colbyjack.net.